In this vid, I'll be taking a look at the PokeLegion's version of Kingdra, Yanmega, Magnezone, Jirachi. Know that it's quite a few Pokemon lines, but they work very well together, and the deck has been rising in popularity since Nationals, and was actually seen quite a few times in Nationals and in Top Cut. So let's take a closer look at this deck, which I think is already pretty consistent, but there's a few positive things that we can do to it. Sorry for the smudges on the deck, it's the downside of being a lefty. First thing that I see that's wrong is that there's only 58 cards in this deck. You need 60 for a tournament legal deck, and so we're too short. That's a good thing though, because I think there's a few things that we can add to this deck, and those 2 extra spots will become very handy. So, the goal of this deck, well, of course the goal of any deck, is to take 6 prizes. But the way this deck does it is starting off with Yanmega. Now, right now, you don't really have any starters in your deck to try and set up. You do have 2 Tyrogue, which are excellent for the potential of donking babies and getting an easy victory. However, while there is a risk of being donked yourself, just by running a Tyrogue baby, you might as well take that Tyrogue line down to 1 and include 1 Cleffa so that you can try and set up as well. You have 2 babies in your deck, making that a 1 Tyrogue and 1 Cleffa isn't going to be too big of a change. But your first attacker is going to be Yanmega. And Yanma also is an excellent basic to start off with because it's got a little bit more HP than the Cleffa can withstand an attack, but it also has free retreat as long as no energy is attached to it. Yanmega also has a free retreat cost regardless of the energy attacked, but Insight allows it to attack without energy cards attached to it as long as the hand size of your opponent and yourself are the same. So we rely on lots of copycats and judges to make sure they're the same, but this is a stage 1, so it's a very easy Pokemon to get set up and will be very fast to start attacking and taking prizes. Linear attack allows you to do 40 to any bench Pokemon, or well, actually to any Pokemon you want, including the bench, which makes it perfect for sniping babies and low HP Pokemon. So you're going to start off with Yanmega to snipe. Hopefully soon you'll get up a Kingdra Prime. Kingdra Prime is supposed to, well, you can certainly use Dragon Steam in case you have a Donphan or another Pokemon that's weak to water out, or your opponent has that out. I apologize for that. But the biggest reason you're going to use this is Spray Splash. If your opponent has a 50 HP Pokemon, you Spray Splash it once, use Yanmega to snipe it, and it's gone. So essentially you can be sniping the bench for 50 with Kingdra, and if you have multiple Kingdras, you can be sniping for more. The problem, one problem I do see with this deck is that you're running a 2-0-1 Kingdra Prime. That definitely needs to be increased to a 2-1-2 line. If you run into a Vileplume, you definitely want to have the Seadra in your deck in case you can't use the rare candy. And with the Kingdra Prime, you're going to want 2 Kingdra Primes on your bench so you can double Spray Splash per turn and potentially do 60 to a bench. And if 1 Kingdra Prime is prized, you want to have that second one as a backup. I do like your Magnezone Prime line though. Magnezone Prime is mainly for its Pokepower Magnetic Draw, which allows you to draw until you have 6 cards in your hand. This is going to help Yanmega even out the card number to match your opponent, depending on what they have, as well as acting as your draw engine. We also are going to make sure that you run enough energy in this deck so that you can also use Lost Burn, which does 50 times the number of energy you put in the Lost Zone. Again, this is going to be your backup attacker, so this is mainly going to be acting as your draw engine, but just in case there's something that's going to be very difficult to take out, you're going to bring up Magnezone and use Lost Burn. And then a late game attacker, or it's not really an attacker, but it is an attack that it uses, is Time Hollow, which allows you to de-evolve your opponent's Stage 1 or Stage 2 Pokemon. So if you're spreading damage with Yanmega on the bench, active, wherever, and then use Time Hollow to de-evolve them, there's a good chance that you're going to be taking multiple prizes in one turn. Another good thing about this card is that its Pokepower Stardust Song allows you to flip 3 coins, and for each heads, you can attach a Psychic Energy from the discard pile to Jirachi, which means you don't have to worry about it sitting on your bench and loading up. As soon as you play it, you can use Stardust Song, get that thing loaded up with Psychic Energies, and go ahead and attack. I guess I should also explain that Time Hollow can de-evolve only as many Pokemon as it has energy attached, and of course it requires 1 Psychic to attack. So, this is your late stage attacker. You have 2 right now. I think that's pretty solid. If 2's been working out for you, I think that's pretty good. So we're running 3-3 on Mega. I would recommend going 2-1-2 for Kingdra. The Magnezone Prime is, and the Jirachi line is good, but I recommend dropping 1 Type Rogue for a Cleffa. So let's take a closer look at your energy line. You definitely need Psychic Energy for Stardust Song. While the attack says it can de-evolve as many up to the amount of energy cards attached, it does require that 1 Psychic Energy to attack. So I know we have Rainbow in the deck, which is going to act as your Psychic Energy. However, I prefer not to do that damage to my Pokemon if I don't have to. That 1 damage counter can make or break a game, and I really don't think it's that necessary in this deck. You run a couple of Rescue, which is excellent for Yanmega. 7 Electric, which I think is a bit too high. I think you can decrease that line and either drop the Rainbow completely or increase it a bit and throw in a little bit of Water and Psychic. I have seen plenty of decks that run the Rainbow energy, but again, that 1 damage counter can it can break you in the end. So I really don't like it, and this really isn't a deck that runs so many different types of energy that Rainbow is essential. So I think you'll be fine if you just by running the Water and the Psychic. But again, that's a personal preference. So let's take a closer look at your trainers and supporters. 3 Collector, I think that's perfect. You have 3 Judge and 3 Copycat. Because Yanmega Insight relies on copying a hand, I would definitely recommend that you increase that line to 4 of each. And that way you're ensured a matching hand regardless of whatever else you have. You have 4 Reversal. I think you can drop that down to 2, possibly 3 Reversal, just because you also have Junk Arm, which I haven't been showing the cards, so let's go ahead and start doing that. You also have Junk Arm, so you can always use Junk Arm to get those reversals back. And being a flippy card, I really don't like to see 4 of them. If you flip 4 tails, that's 4 wasted spaces. So I think you'll be fine with 2 or 3, and then you can always Junk Arm if you need more. You have 4 Pokemon Communication in the deck. I think you'll be fine with 3. Again, you can use Junk Arm to get those back. You run 4 Rare Candy. I think we can drop that down to 3. Again, utilizing Junk Arm in case you absolutely need it. But right now you only have 2 stage 2 Pokemon that can utilize Rare Candy. Therefore, I think you only need 2 or 3 Rare Candy. I'd probably still say 3 for the safest. Junk Arm, you run 3. Perfect. 2 Switch. I think you can decrease that to 1. You know, again, what I like to do with my 1 Switch is play it as soon as possible. And here's a switch for you. I like to play that switch as soon as possible and then be able to Junk Arm for it later if I need to. Ideally, your Magnezone is not going to be in the attacking position very often. You really want to rely more on your Yanmegas and Jirachis and Magnezone just for those hard hitters that you weren't able to get before they evolved. You run 2 Plus Power. I really don't think you need Plus Power in this deck. Yeah, because Plus Power only does damage to the active, and with Yanmega, I think you're going to be doing a lot more damage to the bench. There are a few things that I think are crucial to not only this deck, but any deck that I see that are missing. One of them being Twins, and the other being Flower Shop. And if you've been watching my vids, you'll see that I pretty much recommend one of these in every single deck. You right now have no recovery cards, and if you get a bad start and you have things that are, you know, critically prized, you're gonna need Flower Shop to get it back. And you just never know when you're going to be behind on prizes. This deck isn't meant to be behind on prizes. With Yanmega, you should be able to take the first prize, but you never know when you might come up against the mirror match and be able to utilize the Twins. Again, your hand refresher cards are good, Judge and Copycat, so you don't need Pont, Cheerleaders, Engineers, anything like that. You don't run Juniper, which I don't think is really necessary. Juniper can, you know, discard your hand, draw 7. This could potentially get you out of a bind, but at the same time can hurt you as well. So I think keeping those that 4 Copycat, 4 Judge, I think will be solid enough for you. The only other thing that I would recommend, actually, you know what, I'm going to take that back. I think that's going to be all my recommendations because I was going to say maybe an energy retrieval just in case. because, you know, you're running a lot of, if you take out the rainbows, you'd be running a lot of basic energy. But I think we'll just stick to the flower shop. The energies you're going to be throwing away are going to be into the lost zone with lost burn, so you're not going to need to recover those at all. So again, I think this is a very consistent deck. You have 2 spaces you need to fill. I think we can easily do that with some additional trainers and supporters. And the change to the energy line, it's, you know, completely up to you. But I think just, you know, I hate that 1 damage counter, but that's just my personal opinion. So thank you for watching, and if you'd like your deck to be reviewed, just PM me the list and I'll get right to it.